We begin with breaking news. Iran's foreign minister posted on social media he is now traveling to Pakistan for whomever is in charge in that terror regime. And they, on their side, are calling this bilateral consultations. Pakistan has been trying to revive negotiations between the United States and Iran. And President Trump says Iran's leadership is so fractured that the U.S. does not know who is really with the power to make a deal. Just moments ago, an update on the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. Operations Epic and Economic Fury now are crushing the economy of Iran by blocking its biggest moneymaker, oil. U.S. forces have now redirected 34 vessels, meaning Iran cannot get its oil on the move. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus, reporting live today from Washington, D.C. War Secretary Pete Hegseth has an update here on Epic Fury.
Operation Epic Fury has delivered a decisive military results in just weeks. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, as the president has pointed out, all took years, decades. Vague missions, shifting sands, little to show for it. Operation Epic Fury has been laser focused from the very start. Ultimately, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. It's a bold and dangerous mission, a gift to the world, historic, courtesy of a bold and historic president.
Now take a look at this. The scale of American might concentrated in the region. For the first time in more than 2 decades, 3 U.S. aircraft carriers are operating in the Middle East at the same time. The USS Abraham Lincoln, the USS Ford, and the USS George H.W. Bush carry more than 200 aircraft and some 15,000 sailors and Marines. This map shows the deep commitment that we as a nation are making to this mission. Carriers, destroyers, amphibious ships, and other naval assets fanning out across the region. They're positioned from the Red Sea through the Gulf of Oman, right up to the entrance of the focal point right now, the Strait of Hormuz. That is the choke point that Iran had threatened for years. Now the United States is showing that enemy regime, we can watch it, we patrol it, we control what gets through and what does not. Here's President Trump.
I took the country out militarily in the first 4 weeks. I took it out militarily. Now all we're doing is sitting back and seeing what deal. And if they don't want to make a deal, then I'll finish it up militarily with the other 25% of the targets. But I don't want to rush myself, you know, because every story says, oh, Trump is under time pressure. I'm not. No. You know who's under time pressure? They are. Because if they don't get their oil moving, their whole oil infrastructure is going to explode.
Former CENTCOM Naval Forces Commander Vice Admiral John Fozzie Miller is here on set with me. And coming up, first, let's begin with Matt Finn in Dubai. Matt.
Harris, Secretary Hegseth says 34 vessels have now heeded American warnings and turned back toward Iran out on the Strait of Hormuz in the distance behind me. And the secretary is warning Iran to make a wise decision.
As we said previously, choose wisely at the negotiating table. All they have to do is abandon a nuclear weapon in meaningful and verifiable ways, or instead they can watch their regime's fragile economic state collapse under the unrelenting pressure of American power.
Secretary Hegseth says the U.S. is also tracking other ships that are associated with Iran and idling outside of the U.S. blockade. At least 9 Iranian tankers full of millions of barrels of oil are unable to get past the blockade. Hegseth is urging Europe to come to the Middle East to help solve the problem instead of hosting meetings.
We are not counting on Europe, but they need the Strait of Hormuz much more than we do, and might want to start doing less talking and having less fancy conferences in Europe and get in a boat. This is much more their fight than ours.
And this week, Iran violated the ceasefire by firing at and seizing 2 ships. Hegseth says Iran's Navy has been reduced to piracy, small boats with AK-47s to make attacks. Hegseth says the U.S. is postured to handle those attacks. Now, in Iran, the new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not released an audio or video message since assuming power because he was badly burned in Israeli airstrikes in February. That's according to the New York Times. The supreme leader needs plastic surgery and a prosthetic leg. He does not want to appear in public because he does not want to seem weak. Harris.
Matt, thank you very much. In focus now, Vice Admiral John Fozzie Miller, former CENTCOM Naval Forces Commander. Sir, great to have you in person
Thanks
this morning
for having
in
me.
Washington, D.C. First of all, you said something off camera just a moment ago. It has been a very long week. You said it feels that way, but...
Well, we spent the week wondering if we were going to get back to negotiations or not, if the ceasefire was the right thing to have done. It wasn't really entirely clear all week until today. We're really starting to see the momentum shift, I think. We're understanding better how fractured the regime is. We're understanding much better what the impact of the blockade is on the ability of the regime to stay in power. So I think we are making progress.
With what you know about that part of the world, and particularly from a naval leadership perspective, tell me about the assets that we put around that region. I mean, we really are doing something that I think, at least in my time, we haven't seen.
Well, we have an extraordinary amount of naval power, either already there or coming into the area with the Bush Carrier Strike Group coming in. The Boxer Amphibious Readiness Group with another 2,200 Marines is on its way and almost there. So we have air power, we have sea power. We're backed up. It's a joint operation, so we've got Special Operations Forces there. We've got Air Force assets there all over the region. And so we've got quite a force. And the only option left for the Iranian military is to block the regime or to lob missiles at their neighbors.
So talk to me, if you can, about the use of those assets, though, because, I mean, at one point we had the ceasefire. I think a lot of people were optimistic about that. The markets, though, have held pretty steady. The price of oil has held higher than we want, but pretty steady at this point. So what do you think? The enemy is looking. The president says the enemy is so fractured we don't really know who we're dealing with.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the regime. The pressure the blockade puts on the regime has a number of different effects. It takes away their ability to do sea trade, so that's about 8% of their economy. The IRGC is everywhere. Even though we don't know who's in charge in Iran, we know that the IRGC has the guns, so they've got 51% of the vote right now. It's not clear that the new supreme leader has the gravitas to be able to force the IRGC into negotiations, and so we're watching all that go. But we have pressure there in that we can start combat all over again at a moment's notice, or we can continue the blockade.
Oh, all right. I wrote down 51% of the vote. I mean, the IRGC is militaristic. They kill their own people. I mean, that is a heck of an advantage for them. But I want to get to this. President Trump's extended ceasefire is holding, as we've been talking about. Israel is waiting for the U.S. to green light more military action against Iran. Let's watch.
Israel is prepared for the resumption of war against Iran. The IDF is prepared both defensively and offensively, and the targets are marked. We are waiting for a green light from the United States, first and foremost, in order to complete the elimination of the Khamenei dynasty, the initiator of the annihilation plan against Israel, and the successors of the leadership of the Iranian terror regime.
Vice Admiral Miller, it's so interesting. You said that next step beyond this point would be to fight. Would we want Israel to do some of that instead of the United States with this green light that Israel's waiting on?
I don't know that we want to have a situation where we go back, or we let Israel go back in militarily.
No.
And we don't.
Okay.
I think if we're going to fight in Iran again, then it'll be both the Israelis and our forces fighting. I think that's the best way to approach it if we possibly can. Lebanon's a little bit different, probably subject for a different conversation. But I think if we go back to combat operations, we'll be all in, and it'll be a reminder to the IRGC of the futility of them trying to hang on.
You know, the president said something interesting about, at this juncture, the economy taking a punch is more effective than bombs.
Well, the IRGC is woven throughout the economy in a very corrupt way. And so when you take away the economic power of the country, you take it away from the government, so to speak, but you also take it away from the people in the IRGC leadership. So their personal fortunes are at stake here as well.
Fascinating. Vice Admiral Miller, great to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.